Hey, welcome to the Spiritual Business Hour. And I've got a question for you. Are you the kind of woman who meditates daily, does her energy work, tends to her altar, tends to her ancestors, communicates with her spirit guides, journals, does shadow work, and reads her tarot cards before making any significant decisions? If this is you, please in the comments type in, say me, just me. Hello, me. And then I want to ask you another question. Okay, if this woman is you, I want to ask you if your business has been consistently paying you enough income to fully support yourself, your family, and your dreams. If your answer is yes, great. You are likely a six-figure coach with a great business. You know how to run it. You've got enough income. You need at least six figures to really support yourself, your family, and your dreams in this very expensive world we live in. Congratulations. But if you're not that woman just yet, I want to talk to you. How come, how come all that meditation and woo-woo isn't bringing you enough money to thrive in your life? And I want to suggest something, okay? First of all, it's not because you're not talented, it's not because you're not well-intentioned, it's not because you're lacking in something, but I do want to suggest that maybe you're spiritual bypassing. So, what is spiritual bypassing? Spiritual bypassing is the use of spiritual beliefs, spiritual practices, and especially spiritual language to avoid confronting unresolved emotional issues, psychological wounds, or just practical responsibility that feels really uncomfortable and really, really threatening. So the term was coined by a psychologist named John Wellwood back in the 80s. And he described what he observed in meditation communities, that people using genuine spiritual practice as an escape from, you know, ordinary human hard stuff is using their meditation as a tool to uh, help them avoid taking responsibility for things that went wrong for them. And that's what I want to talk about today here at the Spiritual Business Hour. My name is Crystal Lynn Bell, and I have spiritually bypassed on a number of occasions, and I've also learned how to not do that. I'm notorious for saying spirit is going to handle that, especially when it comes down to my finances. And I am here today with my dear friend. She's my business bestie. We're business besties. That's what we've taken to calling ourselves. Jennifer Sifert. Jennifer is an energy alchemist, and she is a financial guru. My friend is going to help you whip your business into shape by understanding your numbers. And the thing that's wonderful about her, the thing that you're going to love, is that she is incredibly spiritual. Spirituality comes first for her. So, welcome, Jennifer. Hello.
Awesome. I love, yeah, business besties. I coined that one today because you know what? We've been connecting for 3 weeks. We're going deep with each other, and opportunities to like co-collaborate are coming. Things are coming in and asking me to join this. And I'm like, wow, why have you asked Crystal Lynn Bell? You better ask her. I got to introduce you to her. Um, Bypassing. Okay, whenever I hear the word bypass, I think of a road. because where I live, they build like bypasses to get around like all the stoplights, right? They build bypasses. So whenever I think of a bypass, I think of roads because they're supposed to get you there faster with less congestion, less traffic, and that kind of thing. But if you're bypassing because you don't want to look at something or because you're avoiding, and I love this one. Yeah, I am. I don't, spiritual bypassing. I never heard the definition until recently. Like I didn't know about it. I'm like, what the hell is spiritual bypassing? You know, sometimes I don't pay attention enough to new coin terms to know what the newest term is out there. And if you go and read off acronyms too, I don't get them. Like EEFD was, I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know. Because I am super spiritual, but I have a really structured, professionally trained background. And when you are highly structured but highly spiritual, I think great things can come together. But you have to be more aware, even because your left brain will like, oh, I'm taking over right now, and then your right brain's like, oh no, I'm taking over. And when it comes to money, wouldn't we love it for the spiritual? Like, we want to win that lottery. We want spirit or source or God to like solve our money problems. And you know what? Our allies and spiritual team really do want to help us with it. They certainly do. And you have to ask them, because if you don't ask them, they can't help. So remember that. But what they also want you to do, and what I've had to learn the hard way, and I'm going to create some kind of a practice class or master class, some kind of thing around this, is your debt, right? When you're starting a business, most people are incurring some kind of a business loan, or they're lending money to the company. They're using their credit cards to learn to invest in themselves, to buy photography, to get the systems, the funnels, everything started, right? And when you believe, this is a bypass I think maybe I have done. When you believe that you're spending money to invest in yourself and that the money is going to come because you're investing in yourself, there's going to be this automatic return on investment. There's a bypass there. There's some kind of way to bypass that just that simple belief, like, well, I'm investing in myself, I'm going to get the return on investment. No, there's something in the middle. Like you have to keep paying attention. You can't just like get out of control with investing with yourself. You have to actually implement what you're learning, what you're investing on yourself. And so,
Look, okay, so Jennifer, hold on a second, because
go ahead.
you've given us a lot there.
Okay,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So you started off and you said that you look at your town and you see that there is a road and there are bypasses to go around something, right? And those bypasses are meant to help you avoid something. Okay. So I know that it's really easy for spiritual um, women in particular to bypass, because we're taught that bypassing is kind of a safe way to maintain relationships, to not hurt people's feelings. And more than anything, on a subconscious level, it's an egoic kind of way to protect ourselves from having to look at our own shadows, you know? And I love that whole idea of the road that goes around so that you don't have to deal with it. Okay, so that's number one. My friends who are watching, first of all, if you're watching, please leave a comment. Let us know you're watching. Give us a hashtag live. Give us a hashtag replay. That's so helpful for us all. Okay, now, so you mentioned like people who invest in themselves. That is a great one to start with. That's really, really hot. I I invest in myself all the time. I never quite thought of it as a bypass, but I want to know from you where's the bypassing in that?
Well, okay. I invest in myself all the time too. So I think the bypass is I'm doing this to invest in myself. I think there's something else that you need to add on so that it doesn't become this bypass where you avoid things again, right? I think you have to be conscious of the next step when you invest in yourself. There's the implement. I have to implement this. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Right. Because just because you spent the money does not mean you don't have to do the work. Okay. I see that. That is so clear. Love that. Love that, Jennifer. So I've got a question for you around that. My question is, like, what is it that initiates the bypass? Like, where does the bypassing start? Because clearly I just paid $20,000 to this coach and, for this program, for this knowledge. Where is the bypassing starting?
I think it starts in not utilizing the coach for what you paid them for. Okay. So if you hired somebody and you're wanting them to take you from here to there, I think at the beginning, sometimes we might get afraid of like, I don't really have time to do this. Why did I do this? Like, how can I learn all of this? How can I implement all of this? And we don't tell our coaches or mentors exactly what is going on with us. So they can't help us and say, okay, look, don't go to the end yet. Just start here. I think one thing that I can do being a high achiever is like, I want to know what the end's supposed to be before I start. Okay. And even today, I was in a little course where I'm building my quad brain and all that and skills. And I'm like, I just naturally think about like how I start going to like the end and she's like, yes, you're already there. Don't go there yet. You know, it's we get in our way. We get in our way by not following instructions. We do. We do. Unmute anytime and add to that.
Look, so Jennifer and I are dealing with a little bit of an echo issue, so we're trying to be muted. So I'm trying to keep myself muted so that she's not having an echo. She's keeping herself muted, so I'm not having an echo. But so I'm cracking up over that because, and I want to share my own personal experience with, I did not even realize that there was a spiritual bypass in there, although I knew it when I was doing it because I'm aware, but I didn't quite want to call it a bypass. But but it is definitely something that happens. And it is definitely something that I see in my own students as a spiritual business mentor. There are lots of people I get to work with, and they have these hides, and I get to call them out on their hides. But I also have my own mentors. I always keep myself with a mentor. And the very first thing that I'm going to do to spiritually bypass the work is to uh, become uncoachable, to become uncoachable, right? So the mentor has some great information. The mentor is saying, do it this way, but there's something inside me that says that's not the way to do it. So I was so coachable when I came into this program, but now all of a sudden my inner bitch is up and I am not coachable at all. You can't tell me anything. That is the example I think that you're speaking of, Jennifer.
Yeah, because you're too smart for your own good. You're too smart for your own good. And we get in our own way and we don't want to change. We love that comfort zone so much, right? So I want to I don't know if I brought this up, but like I've had other people tell me like they don't want to look at their bank account because it might interfere with their manifesting. Like I've asked them, I'm like, okay, how much money are you making right now? How much money do you want to make? And they don't know either answer.
Yeah, that is so funny. I've heard that. I've never actually said that, but I've heard people say things like, "Oh, my bank account is so low, I'm not looking at it, so I don't want to, I don't want to deal with the little reality. I want to be in the big reality of things." That is such a bypass right there. Absolutely. So detrimental. So, okay, that's such a great example. I really appreciate that. A lot of spiritual bypassing is protective though. And look, that manifester who says, I don't want that low bank account to interfere with I don't want it to get in my head. I get that. But what I've learned is that there really must be a sacred time that is set aside to confront financial issues, whether you have low income or you have high debt or your bank account is not there. Part of the spiritual practice needs to include actually confronting the little r reality and dealing with it.
It's about responsibility and stewardship. And I was talking to a capital venture guy today, and he was saying proactive, being proactive. So, you know, you're a business owner, while you're doing good, you want to create ways to have capital funding while you're making money, while your business looks great, even if you don't need the money. But most people are reacting all the time, right? So we want to start putting ourselves into positions react. So if you're reacting and then you need to get a business line of credit and already the numbers are looking bad or you don't have your numbers together, it's way harder to get. And so what I am talking about, like, and with bypassing is like when we bypass something and try to get around it because we don't want to deal with it and we don't know why we don't want to deal with it, or we're confronted and it's too hard. That's like your number one clue that you need help. And that if you are uncoachable and think that you're going to figure it out on your own and all of that kind of stuff, that's also a number one clue that you need help. You need support from other people. And we want, I think, as coaches and mentors, if we're going to be coaches or mentors, we need to walk our talk, right? So we have to step into more responsibility for our own business. We have to step into being more proactive for ourselves. I'm speaking to myself when I talk like this, right? Like I'm just telling myself again and again that it's so important to be responsible, to be stewarding, to be proactive, so that when the dip happens or when you want to like put a lot of money into something to make a lot of money, you have access to it. Here's the thing that I know for myself and with you, Crystal Lynn, is like we're highly visionary people. And so we get big ideas regularly. I can't act on my big ideas without a lot of support or a lot of money. Both. Go ahead, chime in on that.
That's hilarious, but definitely both. I'm like, yeah, for sure. So I know that stewardship is really about responsibility. And I like that word stewardship. And stewardship requires support. And here's, I think, where spiritual women tend to miss the point. You need You need support in being able to manage your money, but you get that support from above. That's where the support begins. You begin with your relationship with God or universe, however you call it, and then you step into that responsibility on a regular basis. I like to, on Saturday evenings, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock p.m., I sit down with my money. Why is it on Saturday? I don't know. It just is the way that it came. Okay. Saturday, I sit down. I did find a cool spreadsheet software. You give me a gadget, I'll do anything. Okay. I'm Aquarius. I like technology. Give me a gadget. But I found this woman, and I'm happy to share this resource with anyone, but she has a whole spreadsheet for managing your money. All the formulas are set up. You can bring in as many accounts as you want. You can bring in credit. You can like keep track of your debt, and everything is automated. So all you do is you just fill in every week what it is. And so I like to sit down with my receipts and play on my spreadsheet because that's how I see it. I play on my spreadsheet. One of the ways that God supported me, understanding myself, I don't like to do things that don't make sense and that are hard. I don't like to do things that are not graceful. Like if I have to do like 6 months of receipts at one time and they're all in different places and they don't have names on them and I don't like things are not clear, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do something that's cumbersome. I'm not going to do something that's inelegant. That's my way. I'm a structure person. I like structure, organization, logic. God knows this about me. So God is very, very good at helping me find structured, elegant ways. To me, that's a form of support. That may not be what you had in mind, though. As I'm saying that, Jennifer, wait, you're muted.
I totally love what, like, but even if it's, you're having a relationship with your money. You're looking at what you have. It's giving you information so that you can make better decisions. It doesn't matter if it's going to go to somebody else and help them do your year ends. It's helping you to know where you're at. Like a net worth. It's a net worth spreadsheet. I probably know the spreadsheet, but um, it, you're getting familiar. You're actually building relationship with the money. And in any thing that you want to grow, relationship is the number one thing. Like if you want to grow connection with source or spirit or God, you have to have a dialogue with it. You have to have a relationship with it. If Crystal Lynn and I want to develop our relationship further, we have to keep connecting with each other, right? You have to keep developing relationship with whatever it is that you want to grow, whatever. If we think that somebody else is going to do it for us, build that relationship with our money and our ability to make decisions. They're not. So Crystal Lynn, like as you grow, you're going to get a bookkeeper and it's going to use, I don't even look at receipts. I totally go past that. I like get it automatically downloaded into my software and I just let the software do all the automation and stuff. I don't even look at receipts. But like somebody else looks at the receipts and gives you this report saying, this is how well you did. This is what you did from this to this. This strategy never paid off. It actually cost you more. Like that's the type of things that as you grow, you want to look at more. Those are the types of things I'll guide you to look at. But at the same time, I want to know, like, what is the pattern underneath? What's the pattern that you're avoiding? Like for myself, I was accumulating lots of debt to invest in myself. And I'm the type of person who loves to spend money. I'm a spender. Okay. And I also come from a family of gambling, horse racing and stuff. Like we will buy a horse based on pedigree and looks and like lineage, but it might not turn out, right? And we'll have to invest 3 years worth of money before that horse even has an opportunity to return it. So we are very adept at taking risks. And so I have that in my ancestral line. But it costs a lot of money in horse racing and didn't always work out for us. We did lose lots of money. So I've had to really take that pattern and look at it very clearly around like, I don't think it works in this situation.
Now, I want to pause us for a moment, y'all, because um, we are broadcasting to the Women Helping Women Entrepreneurs group. And I want to let you all in that group know about the Liberated Coach Challenge. So, this is a challenge that I created, and it is here to help you embody the visibility, income, and infrastructure that your coaching business has been missing. It runs from August 3rd through August 7th. We go for 75 minutes each day from 4 o'clock p.m. to 5:15 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. By the end of 5 days with me, you're going to know exactly what has been keeping you invisible, underpaid, and overworked. And you're going to get a clear, energetic strategy to turn that awareness into consistent income, a full client roster, and the freedom you built this business to create. You came into this business for a reason. You're going to learn exactly how to make that real. So I want you to sign up. It's absolutely free to join the Liberated Coach Challenge. There are workbooks that are included, there are live sessions, there are replays as well. To join, you're going to go to www.bbfly.co/LC-challenge. That's bbfly.co/LC challenge. There's also a link in the comments. There's going to be a link for you in the caption as well. But we'll go ahead and say goodbye to you all at the Women Helping Women business group. Jennifer saying goodbye as well. You want to say a few words? We got a second there. Jennifer?
I've registered for the challenge. I'm taking the challenge because here's the thing is like, even if you think you know everything, you don't. And Crystal Lynn has demonstrated to me that she is highly structured, she's highly organized, and she's got great tools to help you get where you want to go. And I want to see what she's got.
So you come and learn with Jennifer and all the gang at the challenge. And thank you for that, Jennifer. I appreciate it. And so if you're watching us live on all the other streams, please stick with us. We're gonna talk a little bit more, but we'll see you later from the Women Helping Women group. All right, bye y'all. So Jennifer, thank you so much for guiding us in that. And what I want to do right now, I want to look at some of the causes. No, well, I'm sorry. Wait a second. I want to look at the causes, but I don't want to leave uh, without going back to what you just shared about gambling and big risk and buying horses and understanding risk. So I think that a lot of spiritual bypassing comes about because there is a fear of taking a risk. There's a fear of and let's actually look at some of the risks that are that people can be experiencing when they are spiritually bypassing. What are some of the risks that sorry, I'm got distracted because there's something going on with the live stream. I'm ignoring it. But what are some of the risks um, that people are afraid of? What are they risking? Is it loss?
Well, the loss of the comfort zone. Security. So if you're coming from an entrepreneur to, I mean, an employee to being an entrepreneur, you're not going to get that regular paycheck anymore. You're also worried that you're not going to have the time that you used to have, and you might fail. You might fail. like period. But if you don't take the risk, to go do the work that you're meant here to do, you're not going to grow either. You're not going to grow spiritually, for sure. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of us, are fragile. There's this kind of fragility and an unwillingness to be wrong, an unwillingness to be seen. We don't want to be vulnerable. And that fear of vulnerability in a spiritual woman can really result in bypassing, but it can also result in a lot of internal self-sabotage. I think one of the reasons that I'm as successful as I am is I'm aware of my fragility, but I have a lot of courage to go ahead and do things anyway. I'm always the first to apologize when something goes wrong. And a lot of people see that as a weakness. And they say, Crystal Lynn, don't apologize, and especially in French culture, cracks me up. French people are like, don't apologize. And I'm not, don't expect me to apologize. But for me, it's a way to first and foremost confront my own ego, my own walls, to say, hey, number one, I am wrong, or I was wrong. And at the same time, I am still worthy. Just because I made a mistake, just because I overstepped a boundary, it does not mean that I should be beaten up. I should not be kicked out of the community. I should not be unforgiven. I should not wear a scarlet letter. Like, I feel like there's a lot of anger and blame that gets put on people, and the result is nobody wants to be put in that position. Spiritual women especially can be put in that position of, you were wrong, and then we're empathic, so there's a sensitivity that we have. And I think that spiritual bypassing is a natural byproduct of being sensitive.
I'm really getting clear around how we're growing and evolving. I've been reading these fascinating books lately around transparency and frequency. And whatever we're creating is in our field. It's in my field, right? So I created Crystal Lynn in my field. I created this opportunity to be in my field in proximity to her, right? And it's also going to show me, like, if I have any triggers or anything, which I haven't had with Crystal Lynn, but if I have any triggers come up, right? It's going to
Not yet.
show it's going to show me where I need to shift something in myself. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing overall. So I think when we're bypassing, it's like we also bypass those opportunities to grow. We want to start being more conscious that we are bypassing. And it might take feeling irritated, being annoyed, or frustrated to really know that you are triggered and that you might be bypassing something. And that's when you want to be bringing it to your coach, your mentor, and be talking to them. It's like, I don't feel good feeling this way. let's work it through. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's what coaching and mentorship is for. And honestly speaking, that's what the spiritual practice is for. It always cracks me up, though, when a person takes to their spiritual practice the need to be right, and everything points back to, okay, you are right, you are right, you are right, versus neutrality. Let me see what I need to learn from this situation. Where is this person holding up a mirror to me? And that is so much more of a powerful spiritual practice, a spiritual practice that limits you by putting you always in the right position. Like, I'm always right. And, reading your cards, and no matter what you see, you're like, I'm right, you know? And yet and still, I love it, because yet and still that situation keeps coming back, keeps coming back. Maybe you need to understand that actually you aren't right in this situation. Maybe you need to understand that actually you're wrong. You made a mistake. Your thinking on this is not correct. And that is okay. It's okay. You're a human. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to be alive and to grow, and you will not grow if you hold on to um, things that keep you stuck in place. And I guarantee you, if situations keep coming back and you keep having that same reaction to them, and you aren't meeting those challenges with a sense of peace and calm, then you have not done the work. You are still being mirrored and not recognizing that it's a mirror and that you're just pointing at yourself. All right. So I've got another little thing I want to look at. Um, I just lost my notes though. Here they are. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of look at is the shadow of unworthiness, because it seems to me that there is a drive, a hidden driver of unworthiness. And what I mean by that, like, how does spiritual bypassing lead, or how does unworthiness lead to spiritual bypassing? First of all, a lot of our unworthiness is at the subconscious level. On a conscious level, some of us, okay, are some of us are in denial about subconscious feelings of unworthiness. Subconscious feelings of unworthiness can lead to subconscious spiritual bypassing. How does that work? Well, deep down inside, there is a driver that keeps putting you out there in situations that trigger you and create some kind of disruptive or unharmonious environment or circumstances. So, for example, I had this was back when I had my studio. I had a brick and mortar wellness studio, and there was a thing that I was doing where I was employing people who were uh, they were triggered by me, but of course, they were reflecting me back to me. And the one person that changed my course of relationships with team members, there was a woman that I had hired, and she really, really, really wanted my attention. And what I said to her, like, I had my office, my desk, I was working at my desk in the center of my space because it had a skylight above it, was beautiful. I really loved it. It had a mosaic top, and I just loved working there. But I had a rule. It said, when This little sign is up. Don't disturb me, period. It's as if I don't exist. So the sign was up. Everybody knew. And this young lady was like, Crystalline. And she came and she stood at my desk and she started talking to me about something that she thought was really important. And I said to her, now is not the time. I don't want to be bothered. I'm in my space quietly. It's a boundary. And I expressed it pretty much just like I told you, because this is how I talk. I didn't say, you're in my space. Don't be crazy. get out of my space. Okay. It's a wellness studio. I'm a massage therapist. This is kind of how I deliver things at this same kind of range most of the time. So she was really wounded by this, and she proceeded to go into her room and close the door, and I could hear this loud crying behind the door. And so I went and I left my space and I went and talked to her. And she blew up at me, telling me about how rude I am, how inappropriate I am. And, she can't possibly work for me. And she stormed out of the room, out of the office, and I never heard from her again. So I went home chewing on this, okay? Because this is what we do. We chew and we chew and we chew. Now, I went home and I sat with this, and my way is to not chew on things for days. My way is to deal with it now. So I dealt with it, got home, sat in the bed, and I sat with the feelings that came up. And the girl in that situation was the trigger. Okay, so I let that come up and I felt frustrated. I was angry. I'm like, why would she do this? Why can't she just listen to the boundaries? So I was in my experience and I allowed myself to feel the experience. And what I have learned and the way I coach people is you sit with your darkest, heaviest, worst feelings and you let them kind of melt and you melt. And it might take you an hour. It took me 2.5 hours to sit there and let all this melt. But what ended up happening, what was revealed, was not that the girl was the issue. The issue was that I felt like I was afraid. Number one, there were so many issues actually. I'm going to try to get you the most important ones that make sense. The issue was that I did not feel safe actually in establishing my boundaries. I felt like when I establish boundaries, people go away. Okay, that was the ultimate fear, that if I establish boundaries, then people will go away. And sure enough, that's what was reflected. The girl was not the issue. Her need to talk was not the issue. Crystal Lynn needed to know that I feel terrified establishing boundaries because when I establish boundaries, people go away. Now, when I melted that all down and found my place of peace with the situation, it wasn't that I needed to find peace with her. And this is where spiritual bypassing comes in. Spiritual bypassing is saying that the girl is the issue. I need to find peace with the girl. No, I needed to find peace with myself and my fear of being rejected because I have boundaries that deserve to be honored. So once I melted that, and since then, I have actually never had issues with my team members again. And right now, even right now, Badass Butterfly, Team Badass Butterfly, they are women who are so wonderful, so smart, so intelligent, so beautiful, and I can say what I need to say to them, and they all get it. Crystalline, okay, no problem. Everybody gets it. Everybody's on different continents, and we all get one another. So that is my example of unworthiness and how it can come in to spiritual bypassing. You're muted, friend.
I
I
love what
love
you
what you
shared.
shared.
You got to
You got to
mute.
mute.
Um, we have to sit with our shit. Okay? We have to sit with whatever gets us all triggered and hot and heavy and irritated and frustrated. And I love the melting thing. I remember one time was mostly my intimate relationships are my biggest triggers, right? And I was so triggered one time that it took like 3 hours for me to just like melt this thing down. And I've had clients who have come into a session that's only like an hour or whatever, come in, and we've had to do like an emergency session where I just sit there while they sit with their stuff. Like I just hold space so that they can feel, because and I'm a pro at this. When we're spiritual bypassing, we're drinking the wine, we're smoking the cigarettes, we're having the joint, we're eating the cake, making the popcorn, we're doing
No,
whatever
you
it
didn't
is.
say, no, you didn't say eating the popcorn, making
I
the
had
popcorn,
popcorn
eating the
last
cake.
night and I have puffed up from it, so I don't know what's wrong. I got to get a higher quality brand of popcorn, I guess. But um, you know, we'll go to our unhealthy feeling habits or our coping mechanisms or our addictions. If I just want to say it out loud in plain language, that's what it is. It's an addiction. Netflix, streaming, binge watching, whatever it is. Doesn't mean you can't have a glass of wine once in a while. It doesn't mean you can't binge watch an episode of Netflix, or Little House on the Prairie is what I watched last night. Okay. But, uh, and it was really good if you're a Little House on the Prairie person from the past. But, we have to really feel our feelings. This is the thing that everybody in the entire world has to work on. Everybody. And only, and especially if you're a coach or a mentor, this is where you have to watch yourself to make sure you're walking your talk, you're doing your work, because I feel like that's where you get held up on your income ceilings, because that's where your unworthiness comes into play. For me, definitely. So if I'm feeling unworthy and not good enough, because that's the ancestral pattern in horse racing. If you're not good enough, you're out the door. Okay. I'm like a horse in my parents' stable. Okay. So I was always like, oh, what if I'm not good enough? I'm not going to be, I have to be good enough. I have to be good enough. So that worthiness will get covered up. Like you'll react to that unworthiness trauma that's built into your subconscious with unhealthy feeling habits or coping mechanisms or addictions, or you'll have somebody who is there holding the space for you and guiding you to melt with it, to integrate those feelings, to feel those feelings. And it might not feel good in the moment, but oh my God, it's going to be liberation. Like, no wonder it's the Liberated Coach Challenge, right?
Absolutely, 100%. That type of work is where the real work is. And, I came up with my own particular, like, melting exercise after having a dream, a nightmare of being tossed off a plank with another friend, with another woman, and we sunk down to the depths of the ocean, and we were going to drown. And I remember thinking, well, at least I have this woman with me. We're going to drown together. But then she died like that. And then I was left to drown in this ocean by myself. And the terror in the dream was so strong. And then out of the blue comes an angel. And the angel just said, let go, let go, let go. And all of a sudden, I drowned and I was at peace. And that's when I woke up to this incredible feeling of peace and relief. And then that's when I came up with my particular mood melting exercise. And boy, but that's when I learned that you gotta just Truly, emotions are nothing but energy in motion. You must let them run their course. The problem is that we stuff them down. We stuff them and stuff them. We don't want to feel them. We don't want to feel them in our body. It's a somatic experience dealing with your emotions. It's mental, but it's also energetic and it's physically in the body. We're hot, we're sweating, you know, we've got adrenaline pumping, our tears are falling, our noses are swelling. All that stuff is happening, and that is a part of the emotional process. Jennifer, you want to comment on
Yes,
that?
so like where you might be getting emotional watching and listening to us right now because we might be saying things that you have, that resonate with you. Like right now, I can definitely feel my heart, and I'm like, hmm. I'm not triggered in a sense, but I'm saying things out loud that are extremely vulnerable. I'm like, oh, is my mom listening to this or something like that? Like, so I I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings when I tell the truth, but I am known to hurt some people's feelings when I tell the truth.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's the reality of it, though, and those are opportunities for them. You're hurting their feelings. It's not you hurting their feelings, it's them getting their feelings hurt by you. And there's a difference, it's their responsibility to do their own work, melt those feelings, because ultimately our human vibration is peace. For me, the human vibration, the thing that we really are, is simply peace. And if we're doing anything other than peace, that's for us to be looking at ourselves, not pointing the finger at other people, trying to get them to change. So, look, friends, we are at the end of the spiritual business hour. I am so glad that I've had my dear friend Jennifer Sifert here to uh, to to share this moment, to share her wisdom. Thank you so much for being here, Jennifer.
My pleasure, and thank you for having me. And what a great opportunity to even learn more about each other, coming on and sharing on the spiritual business hour. And I really feel like the inner work, the watching yourself is not just personal. It's a business exercise. It's a and I really feel like I believe your business is a vehicle for your freedom, your prosperity, your impact, and it's such a good tool to reflect and feedback and grow with. You can take it anywhere with you. This if you're an entrepreneur, your business is your most valuable asset, and it's something that you really want to steward. You want to be the captain of the ship, and you want to be getting triggered if things aren't going, like be open to like getting triggered if something's not working out because then you can go deeper. You want the numbers to trigger you.
You do want to be triggered, right? Because you need to be able to grow. You don't grow by just being status quo. You got to get out of your comfort zone. You said it so many times today, Jennifer. So thank you. I want to remind you all to join me for the Liberated Coach Challenge. It's 5 days to embody the visibility, income, and infrastructure that your coaching business has been missing. It's August 3rd through the 7th. Come and join me. It's free to join, but I'm going to help you become the woman who has a six-figure business. So join me. All right, everyone. We'll go ahead and sign off. Thanks. Bye, everybody.